What's up, comrades? Nolf here, and welcome to another video. It's been a while. I've been gone for a couple of weeks or so, and I apologize for that. And I want to get back to making regular videos again, so I apologize if you missed me. And there was some stuff that's been going on, that's been happening, around the internet and whatnot that I wanted to discuss. And today we're going to discuss what happened to Peter Simeti with the swatting. I haven't given my thoughts on it except for that it goes without saying swatting is wrong no matter who it is that does it or whoever it affects. I do not approve of that type of behavior. It's wrong, it's disgusting, and those people should be ashamed. And also, since it's been a while, it also seems as though Edwin Boyette was also swatted to some form of capacity. I'm not really sure. I saw that there was a police forum. Seems pretty legit. And considering that Edwin is a pretty nice guy, I don't really know much else what to say on the topic. At least in that capacity. But I wanted to discuss this in a certain form or capacity. Ah, crap. I saw a lot of videos happening around the time when Peter was swatted. And, well, for starters, I'd like to say I hope Peter's doing well. I know that this is rough for him and whatnot, but, continue to support him as best you can. I intend to, probably, I don't know when, but I'll be buying some more alternate comics probably as soon as I can, but it's going to probably be a while. But until then, send your well wishes to him, of course. Keep supporting him, guys, because the man needs it. But I want to get to kind of the main crux or the main problem that I have. Not really, I don't know if I'd call it a problem. That's the part I'm trying to wrap my head around. But one of the videos I saw was from Micah Curtis, and how he was talking about how the way that certain people have worded or used words has kind of caused this problem with the swatting and with the attacks on people, whether they're pro comicsgate or against it, using words like Nazi and other assorted things in order to stir the pot and to rile people up and to make people more angry and more frustrated and try and get them to attack each other. And the reason why I'm mentioning Micah's video is because he said that he wanted that more people who were neutral when it comes to comicsgate or when it comes to things of this nature, that they need to speak out more and that they need to, stand up for Peter and to do the right thing. And considering that I am a relatively neutral voice in this scenario, here I am. But the one crux of the problem that I have with not so much with Micah, because I'll be straight. I like Micah. He's a good guy. He makes good content. Nothing to bash the guy on, per se. But wanting people with a neutral stance is a good thing. This is something that I've been saying for a long time. I've tried to maintain some form of neutrality when it comes to certain behaviors, when it comes to comic books, especially now. I supported comicsgate in a sense for a while, but the behaviors started to change. And I'm pretty sure you guys kind of could probably go through my entire video catalog and probably find the videos or point them out to me directly of how many times I told people to not push things too far or to overextend or to look for fights. And when Micah was saying like that, more people with neutral voices need to speak up and say that this behavior is wrong and they need to call people out when they're in a sense, calling people out when they're misbehaving. The problem with that I noticed is that many of those people tried and they were ignored. Their warnings were ignored, their conversations were either ignored, or they were called traitors or whatever because they didn't fit, your ideal form of what comicsgate is or what comic book should be. I got this myself, more than once. Was I called all manner of stupid nonsense because I tried to make peace with people, or at the very least try to call out bad behavior when I saw it. I tried. I genuinely tried, and the reason why I stopped making videos that are comicsgate related or comic book in general is because people stopped listening. People stopped caring. They'd rather follow the outrage than listen to somebody with a more neutral take on the situation, it would seem, a lot of the time. I'm not saying that that's always the case. There are plenty of channels that have more neutral stances that do just fine, and that they're listened to a little bit more than mine. That's fine. I think Clownfish TV is a good example of that. And also Peter and his channel. And I'm sure there's others too, but there were a lot of people who were of a more neutral take on the situation who stopped. They stopped trying. I can't really think of anybody in particular by name, but that's what happened to me. And I'm pretty sure I'm not alone in that. There are plenty of people who were in support of making comic books a better place, to making the entertainment that we enjoy entertainment. But when they decide, no, we're not going to take a certain stance on certain situations or on certain aspects, they got attacked by Comicsgate and anti-Comicsgate. It doesn't matter. You're going to get attacked either way. Taking a neutral stance normally means that both sides are going to hate you. No matter what you say, no matter what you do, both sides are going to go on the offensive. And in some cases, they're going to try and silence you or try to bully you into changing your opinion. I genuinely tried. When I saw the bad behavior happening within Comicsgate, and here's the thing, it keeps on happening. It hasn't stopped. Now, you could say, like, oh, well, you can ignore the bad actors, ignore the bad behavior. It's like, yes, I can, but not everybody else does. A lot of these people seem to thrive off the outrage. It just keeps going. There doesn't seem to be anybody who wants to take a leveled approach to this, who wants to talk. And every time somebody tries to take that type of stance, when they try to point the conversation to actually talking about the books themselves and trying to make them better, they normally go either ignored or they get yelled at for some reason. People tried to tell so many of the larger Comicsgate-based YouTube channels. I said it, many others said it. Like, when people were getting into arguments with, well, okay, let's take an oldie but a goodie. How about this? Daryl Ayo, Kwanzaa. Now, it's fine if you want to, take shots at their books and whatnot. That's fine. But you guys are the ones who gave them their platforms in Comicsgate. Because some of you, or at least somebody within it, I'm not sure who exactly, but some people exacerbated the situations further. You constantly talked about them. These were people who did not matter. They were not important of any way, shape, or form. But you made them important. You gave them their popularity. I remember not a couple weeks ago, Lord Nurgle did a video discussing Renfamous and whatnot. The same goes for her. You're making the monster that you're fighting. These types of people could have been ignored. They could have been. Focus on the actual topics that you were supposed to be discussing. You wanted to talk about comic books. These things that I'm flopping. The point was to talk about comic books and their direction. But instead of that, you made it about drama. You made it about the people who make the books. I know I'm not wholly innocent in this because I took shots at creators too. I understand that. But at least when I had issues with the creators, it was about their mentality and how they were writing the characters more often than not. I don't care about their politics. I don't care about anybody's politics. All I care about is entertainment. That's what this channel is for, and this is what comic books were meant for entertainment. But instead of that, it stopped being about that. Like, so many people who I knew that I talked to on a regular basis, some of them are gone. Some of them have stopped caring. Some of them left social media altogether. Or they stopped discussing these topics. Why? Because it was pointless. Because the outrage culture decided that let's just continue to be outraged. That seems to be the whole crux of everybody's argument. Let's continue to be outraged. For whatever reasons. And if we can't find a reason, we'll fabricate a reason. That's what you guys did. You didn't heed anybody's warnings. You made people like Renfamous and others popular on social media. You gave them a platform. They could have been ignored, but you didn't do anything. You turned what was once a discussion about comic books. See, this is even before comicsgate. Okay? This is back when it was just comic book skeptic, whatever you want to call it. It was back when people just wanted to talk comic books. You turned that into outrage. You turned a discussion about comic books into anger and hatred in some form or capacity. And I'm not saying that you actually genuinely hate anybody, but from my standpoint, you guys turned it into a way to whip up the crowd and to stir outrage. The creators themselves within comicsgate, they may not be angry. They may not be outraged. They may just be, playing up to the crowd. There's provocateurs all over the place. I know that. There could be people just stirring the pot just to get attention. Or they don't even realize that what they're saying or doing is causing a problem. But there are people within your audience that might take it too far. And this is just kind of just how the internet is, and I understand that. Here's a good example. Someone who I knew who came on this channel once by the name of Mindy Wheeler made comments of how comicsgate had become high school. And that's how I view comicsgate right now. You're all just a bunch of high school kids. Creating drama, causing trouble, starting fights, like children. This video isn't intended to try and bash people. At least that's not my intention, but this is just how I view it now. Because I can't agree more. Because when something is led wholly by drama, and by who can I shit on next, opposed to actually discussing the topics and the issues, nothing changes. Nothing will get better. This is the reality that I noticed. it doesn't matter how many times we talk. I mean, we could try and talk about comic books and how to make them better. Like adults. Like grown people with an actual genuine interest in the medium. But most of the time, a lot of what comicsgate and anti-comicsgate have done is just made it a shit show. They've soured people's love of comic books. Aside from the few beacons of hope that I see within comic books, I don't like what I see from the community. I genuinely don't. That's why I stopped talking about it. Because the community itself is a wasteland of stupidity most of the time. I know in some cases, I might just be ranting for no good reason, you know, but I think that some of the people who tried to make reasonable arguments, who tried to make reasonable discussion points, even when they thought people within comicsgate or certain people within the movement pushed it too far, they tried to say, no, this is wrong, we need to try and do better. But just like Gamergate, it fell into the same pitfalls and the same traps. You, as a movement, comicsgate created its own worst enemies. There's no real way to say it otherwise. And you guys also tried to find monsters to slay. Even within your own community. If it wasn't one, if you couldn't find somebody to be mad at or to fight, you would move on to people within your own community and push them out. It's hard to say. These are just how I view a lot of these situations. This is a downer video, basically. I'm sorry about that. Hopefully I can move past some of this stuff. I don't like talking about it, you know? I know that this video is probably very rambly, probably doesn't make a whole lot of sense. I'm sorry if it's incoherent. These are just whatever random thoughts that have popped into my brain. I apologize if it's not my best type of commentary. These are just the random thoughts that I had, and hopefully the last time I have to discuss something of this nature when it comes to comic books in general. I'm not sure. I don't even know if I mentioned. I'll leave links down below to at least the two videos, both to Micah's and to one that Lord Nurgle did, discussing some of these topics. Like I said, I'm not trying to hold any ill will towards people, but this is just what I've observed and what I've seen. And I think the best advice that I can give is to not follow a mob mentality. Whether it's on one side or the other. Whether it's comicsgate, whether it's anti-comicsgate. Either way, a mob doesn't work. It's okay to have disagreements, and it's okay to try and stand up for what you think is right. To some, you've got to try to find sound reason, and you got to fight in a more productive and smart fashion. Fight smarter, not harder. Everybody knows how shit some of these companies are. You could explain it, but the main draw of anything when it comes to conversations like this, I thought the whole point was to get not only better comic books, but to see some of those people who maybe are normal, who maybe don't know what's going on, to notice some of these situations and help them to be a part of the conversation too. You gotta let others have their voice to some form or another. There are a lot of people who probably don't even care about comicsgate or anti-comicsgate. They just want to read comics. Maybe they don't like a certain comic, maybe that you like, or maybe they like a book you don't like. And that's okay. That's fine. People are allowed to have their opinions. I think that's it for me. I can't really think of anything else. These are just the random thoughts of a crazy nerd, I guess. I really don't know if there's anything more I can add to this add to these comments. The TLDR version, don't be a dick and don't swat people. I think that's the most bare bone basic way I can put it. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Please, as always, do not forget to leave me a like, shoot me a comment, subscribe if you're new here. I greatly appreciate any and all support you guys give me. And of course, as always, do not forget to raise your nerd flags high, and I will see you next time. Nightwolf is out.